So particularly, we have decided to go for identifying positioning of two circles in a plane. And over here, positioning of two circles in a plane means we are considering two circles visually distinguishable. So we cannot think of two circles coinciding with each other, because in that case, it will not be visually distinguishable. And to perform this job, we have based over certain criteria. Like what criteria we can keep in mind while considering the relative positions of two circles in a plane? We have considered the number of common points and the portion of common area into the consideration. Okay, like if we think of two circles in a plane, we can think of they might not have any common point. They might have exactly one point as contact point in common, or they might intersect at 2 points. And even if I consider of the common area, for that also we do have three variations. Like we might have no area common, we might have the area of the smaller circle itself common, or we might have a area common which is partial area of both the circles, means the area common to both is less than the area of smaller circle. Okay, now based on this variation, we can think of this type of positioning. The first one is no common point and no common area. In that case, we will mark the circles externally disjoint. If we have one common point and no common area, then we will mark externally contacting. For two common points and hence the common area is lesser than the area of smaller circle, we mark such positioning intersecting positions. Number 4, one common point and the area of the smaller circle is common. In that case, we will mark it as internally contacting. And finally, the fifth variation, no common point, but the area of the smaller circle is common, will be marked as internally disjoint. So we are just going to have a look at the identification from this type of position. Now, if we think of the externally disjoint circles, so if they have no point in common and no area in common, so you can think of two such circles, the blue circle and the violet circle. These are our two considered circles. We are assuming the center of the blue circle is C1 and radius R1, whereas for the violet circle, it's C2, center and radius R2. In that case, the first thing we can identify, the distance between the center is something more than sum of the radii. Even if we add the radii, still there is a gap of this much distance. So in that case, the first information we can extract, the distance of the centers must be more than sum of the radii. And as the diagram suggests you can identify these two circles will have four common tangents. The blue ones been drawn, these are direct common tangents, and the red ones been drawn as the transverse common tangents. Now, if you think of this triangle from the point P, if we consider two tangents been drawn to both the circle, then both center is going to appear on the angle bisector of the pair of blue circles. Is it okay with everyone? We are considering from the external point P, we are drawing pair of tangents to both the circles, and hence the angle bisector of the tangents must pass through the circles contacted by both of these lines.
Yes, sir.
So both C1 and C2 are appearing on the angle bisector. Moreover, if we think of this triangle, P contact point with violet circle and center C2, and also the triangle P contact point with blue circle and center C1, these are both similar right triangle. We know that over here this angle is right angle, over here this angle is right angle. Okay, so these two are similar right triangle, and hence corresponding sides will be in the ratio R1 is to R2, as already two of the sides are visible in the ratio R1 is to R2. So we can confirm C1P is to C2P is R1 is to R2. So on, from this contact point distance of P, and from this contact point distance of P is also R1 is to R2. Now the first information we have got that C1P is to C2P is R1 is to R2. From there we can mark P is that point which divides C1 C2 in the ratio R1 is to R2 externally.
Yes, sir.
And also by the idea that even if I mark these points as some A and B,
Yeah.
let's mark these points as A and B. So AP is to BP is also R1 is to R2. From this information, we can get to AB, which is the direct common tangent length. On a similar note, we can think of the presence of transverse common tangents. This red two are transverse common tangents, and we can ensure that their point of intersection is that point which dividing the center joining line in the ratio of radii, but internally. The easy way to establish that is join C2 with the contact point, join C1 with the contact point, and if I mark these 2 points as M and N, again we have got similar triangles where corresponding sides will be in the ratio C1M is to C2N, which is nothing but R1 is to R2. Okay, so from this idea we can confirm that the transverse common tangents will intersect at a point which divides the center joining line in the ratio of radii, but this time internal. So the conclusions we are going to carry out of this type of positioning: distance of the centers more than sum of the radii. Number 2, common tangents we are getting 4 for the 2 circles. There are 2 direct common tangents as well as 2 transverse common tangents. And P and Q are respectively the external and internal section point of C1, C2 in the ratio R1 is to R2. Is this for conclusion making clear to all?
Yes, sir.
The next type of positioning we have considered externally contacting, means one common point but no common area. So we can think of it is the same reference as earlier one, but this time the 2 circles has come closer, and hence the angle between the transverse common tangent in this section it was approaching pi, and in this section it was gradually approaching 0. If I make this circle approaching towards the blue circle, gradually the angle between transverse common tangent will increase in this section, and this is being the supplementary part, it will be decreasing in this part. In this section where the circle been contained, the angle will be approaching pi, whereas MQN, this part will be approaching 0 gradually. And when the 2 circle will pursue a common point, say Q is that common point, then both the transverse common tangent has coincided with each other. So from the diagram we can identify the distance of the centers is this time exactly R1 plus R2, and the contact point Q is itself the point which is dividing C1 C2 in the ratio R1 is to R2. And over here, not just the ratio, you can even confirm that C1Q is itself R1 and C2Q is itself R2. So not just the ratio, but the distances are also exactly R1 and R2 respectively. Okay. So this is the lone common tangent which is appearing in the transverse form, but this is not transverse anymore because the contact point is not on either side of center joining line. So this will not be marked as anymore transverse common tangent, and we will mark the red tangent as common tangent through common point. So this time the 2 circles having their centers at a distance same as the sum of radii, number of common tangents 3, out of which the blue ones are direct common tangent and the red one should be called as common tangent through contact point or common tangent through common point. The earlier conclusions of P being the external section point of C1, C2 in the ratio of R1 is to R2 will still be true by the same idea of similar right triangles. So the conclusions to carry out of this type of positioning is distance of the center is same as sum of the radii, number of common tangents 3, and P and Q are respectively external and internal section point of C1, C2 in the ratio R1 is to R2. Next, we have considered the intersecting position. Now, in the intersecting position, there will be two common points, and for the first time, we are going to get a chord of these circles which are common to both. Okay. So in this particular formation, you can identify the distance of the centers is now even less than sum of the radii, but definitely it is more than the difference of the radii. Okay. What will happen when the distance is exactly difference of the radii? We will get to it in the next point. But at least over here, we can confirm that the distance of the center is lesser than the second case, and hence distance of center is less than sum of the radii. Why it is more than difference of the radii, that we will discuss with next point. The number of common tangents been reduced to just 2, and both are direct common tangents. There is no scope of a transverse common tangent or a tangent through a contact point. As such, there is no contact point. There are two intersection points, which gives us a chord common to both the circles. And obviously, that point of intersection for the direct common tangents will still be holding the earlier relation, that it is the external section point of C1, C2 in the ratio of radii. Next, internally contacting is the fourth one, and internally disjoint is the fifth one. When we are considering internally contacting, now you can identify C1, C2 is nothing but R1 minus R2. This complete is R1. From there, if I subtract R2, that gives us the distance. So this time, distance of the centers is modulus of R1 minus R2. And in the intersecting position, the distance was more. So that is why we can mark in the intersecting position, distance of centers more than difference of the radii, but less than sum of the radii. Okay. When we are getting internally contacting, that is one common point and area of the smaller circle is common. So in that case, through that one contact point, we can have a tangent which is common to both. So number of common tangent is 1, and these centers are at a distance which is same as the difference of the radii. I have put a modulus here on R1 minus R2 because we have assumed R1 greater than R2, whereas in question it might not be true. So that is why I have used the modulus. And when we are considering internally disjoint circles, over there, the distance of the centers will be even lesser. It can be even 0, because you know that we can even think of concentric circles. Like if we keep the circles in this position, both their centers will coincide. So distance of the centers can be even 0. If not 0, still it is definitely less than difference of the radii. And as one circle is completely contained within the other circle with no common point, so we cannot even have a scope of a common tangent. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, based on this type of positioning, let us handle a question. Say the question says a circle have center at 0, comma a. So you can identify the center of the given circle is on y-axis. We don't know whether it is above x-axis or not, but definitely on y-axis. And the radius of the circle is b. And it is also been said b is less than a. Now, after reading this much, can I confirm whether the earlier circle or the center was above x-axis or below x-axis?
Yes, sir.
As radius is less than a, so definitely a is positive, and if 0 comma a is position of the center, it is above x-axis on the y-axis. So that means the center is on positive y-axis and radius b, and the radius is such that this circle must have origin as an exterior point. Is that okay with everyone? Now another variable circle with center at alpha comma 0, so this one having its center on x-axis, touches the first circle and intersect x-axis at m and n. So m and n are supposed to be the variable diametric extreme for the circle, as center is on x-axis and m and n are the intersection points of the circle with x-axis. So m and n is a pair of diametric extreme. Now we need to find coordinate of such a point P on y-axis that angle MPN is constant due to any real value for alpha. So keeping its positioning and type of positioning fixed, like the center is on x-axis, if we keep on varying the size of the circle, in that case, we must have MPN constant due to all such variation. So what we have firstly considered that these circles are touching each other, but we don't know whether they touch internally or externally. And if we get to the earlier conditioning, if two circles are contacting externally, then the distance of the center is sum of the radii. Whereas when the circles were contacting externally, then distance of the center was difference of the radii. Over here, it's not been clarified how it is contacting. So we have firstly drawn a diagram over here. I have just drawn the external contacting, because if I need to draw the circle which will contain the green circle inside, it will be of huge size. But I have kept the opportunity open, because for contacting circle, the distance of the centers root over alpha square plus a square will be same as sum or difference of the radii. Okay, so I have kept both opportunity open and then gone for the squaring of both sides. So that gives us a alpha square plus a square is equals to r square plus b square plus or minus 2rb. Now from here, why have we derived alpha square minus r square? We will discuss that afterward. You can even for the time being keep it up to the highlighted line, that alpha square plus a square is equals to r square plus b square plus or minus 2r. Now, if we consider the point P as some 0 comma P on y-axis, and as we have already assumed the radius of this circle, variable circle r, so m must be alpha minus r comma 0, being diametric extreme, r units away on x-axis on the left, and n being considered r units away on x-axis from the center. So coordinate is alpha plus r comma 0. Okay. Accordingly, we have decided slope of MP and slope of NP using change in ordinate by change in abscissa. Now, if I consider angle MPN is theta, which is supposed to be constant, then tan of theta must also be constant.
Yes, sir.
And we can write this tan theta in terms of the slope of the arms MP and NP. So tan theta is equals to modulus of slope of MP minus slope of NP divided by 1 plus slope of MP multiplied with slope of NP. And then we have substituted the values. Okay. These are the already decided values. We have substituted that. We have multiplied the numerator and denominator with alpha square minus r square. Now, as soon as we do that, we can identify alpha square minus r square is going to play an important role. So that is why alpha square minus r square, alpha and r are both been considered variables. So alpha square minus r square been written as far as possible in terms of the given constants. Okay. So now can you identify the motive of changing the highlighted line found after squaring to this formation where we are replacing alpha square minus r square, or we are considering a correspondence of alpha square minus r square as b square minus a square plus or minus 2rb. Now with this idea, if we have this multiplication done, we have got the numerator 2pr, denominator p square plus alpha square minus r square. And as decided earlier, we have tried to replace this alpha square minus r square by as far as possible to the constants. So we have substituted this form. Now, if tan theta is going to be constant, can it be dependent on r?
No, sir.
R is a considered variable radius, so it must be independent of r. But we cannot have cancellation of r until and unless this particular section transforms itself into 0. So that confirms to make tan theta constant, that is independent of r, we must have p square same as a square minus b square, or p same as plus or minus root over a square minus b square. So with this value of p, now we can ensure that even if we have variation for the second circle, still the diametric extreme of the variable circle m and n on x-axis will subtend a constant angle at this point p.